Hello everyone, I'm Brian. Today I'm writing to what is the Tattvabhavna? Tattvav Tattvabhavna. Is the B silent? Tattvabhavna. Swami Anubhavananda. So anyways, I was looking through his stuff and I was like, what is this one? Never heard of this before, so let's give this video a shot.
How do we practice this Tattva Bhavana? The Tattva Bhavana is indicated in next two verses. Dikkala Janavachinnam Swacham Nityoditam Tatam Sarvarthamayam Ekartham Chinmatram Amalam Bhavan Tadev Bhavayan Sadhu Shanta Tishta Gatajvaraha. How beautifully the thoughts are presented. Dikkala Janavachinnam. So what is the Tattva Bhavana? Dikkala Vastu Adi Anavachinnam, that which is not conditioned by time, space, object, etc. Now find out what is not conditioned by time. Of course, we are not conditioned by time because we have no experience of birth, therefore no beginning, no experience of growth, therefore no modification, no experience of death, therefore ananta, infinite.
Very interesting that when he said no, essentially not remembering birth and no instance of death. Therefore, the infinite. Well, I guess I was thinking, it's like, well, wouldn't the no instance of birth also do the same thing? But I guess maybe there could be things not born, therefore not infinite. Well, I don't know. Because a Brahmin is considered to be never born and never, never born and never death, never dying, never dead or dying. So therefore, it is infinite. But I don't know. I just wonder why he said. Let's see. And it's pretty interesting. He said, "No experience of growth." That sounds terrible, but I get what he's saying because obviously the Atma itself, the Brahman Atman itself, never experiences anything whatsoever. Uh, Birth, therefore, no beginning. Oh, okay. Birth, therefore, no beginning. No experience of death, therefore, infinite. And I like. It's really weird. He used the word modification. It's a very interesting word he uses there. No experience of growth, therefore, I guess it's not. I guess whenever I think of modification, I think of physical modification. Uh, but no experience of growth. What else would I use? I guess what other terminology would I use for that? No experience of growth, therefore no change. Change and modifications can be interchangeable, I believe. But I think I don't know. I just interesting that he uses the word modification though for me. It's not a word I would have thought he would use, and I guess it's because again, culturally modification is used for I don't know physical things really. Change is a very generic terminology that's used for just general stuff purposes, but again, cultural differences in terms of the language, the English language is very fascinating. I do wonder, is that a normal, I guess, word he uses for things that are not changing?
Therefore, Ananta, infinite.
Ananta.
This is what we are. Kala. Then dik is the space. How much space we occupy in deep sleep, we don't know. Space disappears. Where are we? When are we? What are we? Nothing exists in deep sleep. But we do exist. So whether we are identified with the body or whether we are identified with the subtle body or the ahankar or aham bhava or the mind or chitta, various words, meaning is the same. See, when we are not identified with the body, still we remain. When we are not identified with the subtle body, still we remain. When we are not identified in the deep sleep with the causal body, still we remain. So they are in me, I am not in them. See, this one particular point is so important. This is an object. I'll take some dark object, you'll understand. So this is some object. Now, this object is seen in the light because it is inert by itself, it is not self-illumined. So the light has taken the shape of this particular object. See? And which light? Not the original light, but the reflected light. So the original light gets reflected on the object and takes the shape of the object.
Wouldn't that still technically be the original light, though? The light has taken the shape of a particular object, which is not the original light, but the reflected light. But that's making a distinction between reflected light, as though it became something completely different. Now, I guess you could say because the color itself absorbs some of that light, but it's still technically the original light, just missing some light, right?
Gets reflected on the object and takes the shape of the object. Therefore, object is in the light. Light is not in the object. If this is understood, then next step. I know the body. Body is known by me. Therefore, I am in the body or body is in me? Think. So when the mind includes the body in its womb, then from the common mind, a special mind is born. Common mind is Nirgun Nirakar, without any form, without any shape, because it is Tattva. I told you this principle, Tattva is formless. So this mind which is formless eliminates the body, thereby individuality is born. See? But if the body is taken away, that means if the body is dropped, the mind continues to exist. See? If this example is clear, in the same manner, when I...
Before you get to that one, let's rewind. So the light in this instance, I'm thinking this literally because I'm not exactly sure what it makes sense. Let's see. So in terms of how the mind and the light works, in terms of the mind and the body, the light in this instance to me would be like the nervous system because you're completely aware of your body, and what makes you aware of it is your, I believe, your nervous system, because that's where all communications goes. When you get a cut, you'll know it's there, unless you get one of those hidden cuts, and then when you put like um, Purell or the alcohol thing, and you discover you have a cut there. I don't know if y'all had done that, but woo, boy, that's a rude way to find out you got a cut in your hand. But you're generally speaking aware of your body because I believe of your nervous system. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but if I'm wrong, correct me. But do understand what I'm trying to say here. Um, and the nervous system is essentially the light, I believe. Your mind, your brain or your mind is constantly aware of your body. So I believe what he's trying to say is that because of this constant awareness, that you associate the mind with the body. Born, the body is taken away. That the body is, hold on, individual, formless, illuminated body.
So this mind which is formless eliminates the body, thereby individuality is born.
So, sorry, the mind and brain are separate here. So the mind is the electrical signals, or the consciousness, kind of. It's the ego of the consciousness, I believe. It's the thoughts, the process of the thoughts, not the actual brain itself. The brain is the organ itself, and the thoughts is the mind. I think that's it right there. The mind is the thoughts, and essentially your mind is aware of the brain if there's any kind of pain, especially in your body. Your mind is generally speaking aware of the body as long as it's able to get communication from it. So the communication, the nervous system is the light, and because of this, your mind associates with the body.
See? But if the body is taken away, that means if the body is dropped, the mind continues to exist.
So here, I was thinking, when I first heard it, I was thinking initially you remove the brain from the body, but the brain still lives, and the mind is still in the brain, but it's very aware that there's nothing it can perceive, feel, touch, taste, hear, or anything like that, because there's no input outputs type system, no touching, no smelling, no tasting. There's none of that anymore.
See, if this example is clear, in the same manner,
Okay, so it sounds like you're saying the mind. Actually, this one is Atma itself, where the the consciousness of the mind. If you remove that from the body, it still exists because it was never part. Well, I don't know if he's saying that it's part of the body or not, but it sounds like he's saying that even without the body, consciousness still exists.
when I include the body, the ahankar is born. But when I don't include the body, when there is no ahankar, yet I continue to exist.
hmm So the ankar is the ego. Okay, okay.
So this ahankar, aham bhava, includes the body, but it is not necessary for existence of our own being. Ahankar is necessary for conducting the business of life.
Okay. I'm starting to understand him. Okay, so I hope I don't confuse anyone, but so the Ahankar is the ego, as a lot of other people say. Sadhguru, I believe, says the ego. Acharya Prashant, Swami Sarvapriyananda, Swami Tattvabhavna, they all say the ego. The, ank- the, an- the, the Hankar, I believe that's how it's pronounced, is the ego. Okay, so I can now start to understand. The more I watch his videos, I will understand this man.
But just for being, nothing is required.
Just for being nothing.
Dikkaladhyanavachinnam. Therefore, in the deep sleep, Desha Kala Vastu Vyakti Paristhiti, everything is absent. But we are present in the absence of everything. This is how we talk about, I had a good sleep. Now, who talks this? Waker cannot speak this. It is the one who was in the deep sleep, but he was not sleeping. Therefore, he can say, I had a good sleep. The more we reflect on this line, Dikkala Dhanavachinnam, Anavachinnam, not limited by. And this all is achieved by this simple technique, our Maha Mantra. Take any mantra, wherever I am, dig, space, whenever I am, kal, time, whatever I am, vyakti, I shall be 100%. So there is no body created. You are 100%. And when these three things are dropped, Desha Kala Vastu. So when I cease to be husband because I went away from the wife, but I continue. When I go away from the son, I cease to be the father, but I continue to exist. So my existence as a man is independent of the son, husband, and father, wife. Exactly the same way.
I really do like that example, honestly, especially when using identities. Like when you try to explain people's identities and stuff. It's like it's like, oh, you're a sister, right? You have a sister, right? So therefore you are a sister. But if I were to remove sister from you, do you still exist? I'm like, yeah, yeah, because I'm still me. A sister is merely because of a identifier that I have a sister with me, or a brother, brother or sister. Father. Oh, so that means you have a child. So if I were to take father away from you, do you still exist? Yeah, I do. So we see these as identifiers, as identity that we are. And my biggest thing is trying to find a way to use this to people who just have a lot of identities and try to strip those layers away. But this is a great example, but I don't think it's strong enough to make that kind of argument. What because a lot of people use identities to say that this is who they are. These identities is what created who they are, and I understand that. You know, how you became where you are is through whatever things you went through in life. Being a father changes who you are. Now, mind you, I'm speaking in not in terms of Brahman Atman itself, but I'm talking about more the ego, and this is what most people identify as. Trying to strip away those things at the very least, even if you don't tell them anything about Brahman Atman itself, but to get that ego stripped a little bit to just identify as a human being, or even whatever nationality you are, just at the very least stripping as much of the ego, the identifiers of the ego as much as possible. And start getting people to be proud of their nation, or just being, if you can strip even that away to say they're freaking amazing human beings, it'd be great. But I have not heard a great argument, because I mean, much like Sadhguru and Swami Sarvarpiyananda has said, and maybe Tattvabhavna, I haven't heard quite Acharya say this, but he does talk about the ego a bit, but about if you can strip that away to just say that you are a human being, that'd be great. Less identifiers would be less, how do I say, conflicts in the world, because if you say I'm a human being, you're a human being, we're not different, therefore why would we fight each other? Versus where you say, I am American, you're whatever, therefore we fight each other because there's a difference. I have brown hair, you have black hair, we're different, therefore we fight each other. I have brown eyes, you have black eyes, we're different, therefore we fight each other. I have no nails, you have nails, and there's a reason that we're different, and we fight about it. To me, I've always thought as identifiers as not necessarily being something that that's something that should be fought over. It should be something that we can see differences amongst each other, and be curious about those differences. Obviously, like culture is different, food is different, whatever you do for fun is different, and per culture, per country basis. And instead of seeing that it's like something bad, hopefully we can see that's something great to learn. But these are also identifiers as well. But it's a matter of whether we see those identifiers as something bad or something good. And obviously, bad and good in this situation is relative.
That is the tattva. So dikkala dhanavachinnam.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't realize it was gonna. There's a bit more left, but okay. But yeah, anyways. So, talking about stripping off identities, who you are. Tattvav, Tattvabhavna, Tattvabhavna. Oh, jeez, I know I said that wrong. Like, look, if I make you laugh by struggling to pronounce that, by all means, laugh. But yeah. So, and here it's talking about along the lines of the the Atman Brahman as the mind, and then the Ahankar as the ego, and the fact that you still exist even when you strip the body away and you strip the mind away, or the ego. Like, especially when you look at the deep sleep example, the fact that you still, even though you're not aware of anything, you are still aware that you're not aware of anything. You're aware of the darkness, the blankness, the nothingness, which is, I guess if you look at Advaita Vedanta, then that is who you are as well. It's not merely just externalizing. It's like, what do I see in this blankness, nothingness, which is nothing, but it's the sheer fact that you realize that what the person that's saying, "What do I see?" is you, or it's a little bit hard to say that because that's still part of the ego, but you realize who you are because of what you're aware of. Interestingly, it goes with Jnana Yoga, where you're aware of everything that you're not. All you have to find out is once you strip away everything that you're not, you'll find out who you are. Anyways, that's my reaction to what is, oh boy, the Tattvabhavna Swami Anubhavananda. If you like my content, please consider subscribing, thumbs up, thumbs down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.